to our political guests, students, platform, visitors, friends, whomever. Once again, my name is Hezekiah Watkins, and I was the youngest freedom rider arrested in Jackson, Mississippi. I was arrested. Thank you. Thank you. I was arrested at the age of 13. Not only was I arrested at 13, I was sent to the state prison. Not only was I sent to the state prison, I was put on death row. At 13, being from a little country town like Mississippi, I did not know the meaning of death row. I was placed in a cell with other convicts who was there for murder and other heinous crimes. My night, my days was hell. But I was there for 13 days that appears to be 13 months or longer. But I made it. Because we had a president by the name of John F. Kennedy. In some kind of way, his brother, who was the U.S. attorney, made aware of my being in prison. And the president called the governor, which was Ross Burnett, and asked him, do you have a 13-year-old in your facility? And the governor lied and said no. But the following day, one of the governor's workers went to him and said, Mr. Governor, it's a possibility we might be in trouble. He said, how so? Well, you have lied to the President of the United States, and that could mean trouble for us. He said, well, I'll tell you what, just call the prison and tell them to release him and bring him back to Jackson, Mississippi. And they did so. After bringing him back to Jackson, Mississippi, they called my mother. My mother was unaware of my whereabouts for 13 days. When she went to the police for help, they told her two things, actually three. Your son probably went to Detroit, maybe Chicago. If not there, he's dead. That's a hell of a thing to tell a parent. But that's what she was told. So here I am at the police station, waiting for my mother to come because I knew they had called. But once they called my mother, she was under the impression that she was on her way to the police station to identify my remains. Here I am, I'm handcuffed, facing the door that my mother was coming in. And once my mother opened that door and spotted me, she went berserk. She began yelling. She began shaking. She began crying. She began running in my direction. And one of the police officers that was in the room got up and tried to detain her. I don't know what happened, but that police officer ended up on the floor. Because nothing could stop my mother from getting to me. She ran so hard until she knocked me down. And she fell on top of me. And she asked me about the knots and bruises and cuts, but not allowing me to say anything. She's crying. She is running down her cheek. Snot is coming from her nose. And all of it is running into my mouth. But I can tell you what, it was the best snot, the best tears I ever had. It was so enjoyable. So the police officer had to help my mother up off me. And after doing so, they had to help me off the floor as well. They took the cuffs off. The cuffs is off, and I'm standing looking at the police officer, wondering what is next. And believe it or not, he looked down at me and said, "You're all free to go." There was a burden that was lifted off me. My mom put her right arm around my neck. She didn't know she was choking me, but I'm almost dead because of the thickness she had on my neck. So we walking down the police steps and we get in the car, and my mama maneuvered herself out of the parking space and pulled up to the light and just cut the car off. Turned around and said, "Come here, baby." And I slid to my mom and I gave her a big hug, and she gave me a big hug. She said, "Don't move, stay right there." She cranked the car back up and she took that right arm and began choking me again. Not knowing that she was choking me, that was the love that was being shown to me at that particular time. But we get home. I'm so glad to see home. And some of the kids had made their way to the house. And they surrounded the car saying, trying to wave, and I'm trying to wave back. And my mom is out of the car and she yelled back, "Get out of the car." But I got two older brothers in the house. And my two older brothers is gonna want to know everything that went on. I couldn't tell them that. I'm still sitting in the car. And my mom yelled back with some bass in her voice. And my mother, I must say, my mother was a Christian lady. I have never heard her use a curse word in my life. Because we would always have Bible school on Wednesday at my house. Everybody thought my mom was the most religious person that ever lived. But she yelled back, "Did you hear me? Get your so-and-so and so-and-so out of the car." Now that means get your so-and-so and so-and-so out of the car now. And that can't be my mother. Number one, I became embarrassed. I became shameful that the kids is hearing my mom talk like this. I get out of the car and she said, "Get your so-and-so in the house." And I did. But before I could open the door, she yelled, "Once you get your so-and-so in that house, drop them." It's a possibility that many of you don't know the word drop 'em. So let me just say this. Drop 'em means take off your clothing. All of your clothing. And that's what I did. When my mom walked in the house, we refer to it in Mississippi as, I was naked as a jaybird. And she walked in with 3 switches. And she took those switches and she sat on the bed. And she braided those, like this lady here. She braided those switches until she had one. And she took that one switch. And she beat the stuffing out of it. Not for being arrested as a freedom fighter because I left church and went to the bus station to see the freedom fighter. Now this happened in July, and I wasn't able to do anything until September. And in September, school started in Mississippi. I had to go to school. First day of school, I met a man named James Bevel. Some of you might have heard his name before. Mr. Bevel was an activist and wanted me to be an activist. And I told him, no way. He said, but the organization needs you. You can recruit more young folks. You can even go on fundraisers for me. You can do this, you can do that. And I told him, since my mother wasn't around, I told him to get away from around me. And he kept talking. And I began to unbutton my shirt until I had enough buttons open where I could open my shirt so he could see my belt. He said, did that happen to you in prison? I said, no. Well, what happened? This is what my mother did. Man, your mother beat you like that? I got on the defensive side. And I told him, hell yeah, she can beat me like that. My mother can beat me whenever she gets ready. The best thing for you to do is leave me alone. And I walked off. A month later, he came back with a different story. And I went on to become a full freedom rider. I came on to be arrested 109 times, right in the state of Mississippi. And I'm proud to stand here and tell you all about those arrests. Because believe it or not, where I am. Leesburg, Virginia. Thank you.
All right.
So many places.
It's all right.
Believe it or not, what the Freedom Riders did in Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, guess what? It affected all of you.
Yes.
Say it again, because I don't think I didn't know if y'all heard. The effect was on everybody. Because the laws that was passed was either done by Congress or by the U.S. court. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud to be part of history. I had no idea at the age of 13 this would revolve into this, but it did. And I'm proud of it. In closing, I am 77 years of age. That's too old. Now, if you sit at home watching TV.
Well.
Okay? To the younger generation, I want to pass this on to you all and let you all take this baton, per se, and run with it. Do what your calling has called you to do. Any of us can make a difference if you want to. You have to want to make a difference. They call it having a choice. We all have a choice, depending on how we use it. So if you want to make a difference in your community, in your state, in your school, in your church, those are choices that you have to make. And I'm hoping this little speech will help each of you make a choice in life